This past week, my uncle, Rav Kanner, passed away. My uncle was not a famous man, but his life story, which is quite gripping, and I'll just mention a couple parts of it, has tremendous lessons that can inspire us to grow as people. My uncle Aryeh, when he was a child, grew up in Poland. When the Nazis came, he managed to escape with 4 other siblings and his grandparents to communist Russia. The reason he wasn't with his parents is that in the initial bombings of Poland, his sister had been seriously injured, and his parents stayed back to tend to her, while the grandparents tried to escape with the rest of the children into the Soviet Union. His parents and his sister's fate was the fate of so many that they were all killed. Al Kiddush Hashem. When they entered Russia, very early on, the communists told the grandparents that the children can't stay with them. They were separated from their grandparents. There were 5 children that were left all alone. Their parents would soon be killed, and their grandparents actually died a short while later, both of them heartbroken that they weren't able to protect their last 5 grandchildren. My uncle met his grandfather as they were separated by a river, and his grandfather gave him 2 parting words, 2 parting messages. One was that you're a Jew, and don't forget that you're holy and you come from holy people. And the other is, you now have a responsibility to take your 4 siblings, protect them, and ultimately, I don't know if he told them to go to Eretz Yisrael, but to bring them to a place that's better and safer. Ultimately, my uncle came here to Artzeinu Hakdosha, to Eretz Yisrael, and he passed away with more than 100 descendants. Bli Ayin Hara. Now, there are 2 very, very powerful messages from this story. My cousin Rav Kanner, when he eulogized his father, he said, as you go up to heaven, as your soul arrives upstairs, your grandfather is going to come out to greet you and going to say, you fulfilled your mission. You maintained true to your identity, and he managed to bring all 4 of his siblings to Eretz Yisrael, each one of them having special families. The first message is, every single one of us has a mission. In some ways, my uncle's mission was overwhelming. It's mind-boggling. And there are so many parts to the story that I haven't told about how he managed to usher his siblings to safety. But in another way, my uncle was given a very clear direction. He was given direction from his loving grandfather, and he set out in his life to fulfill it. And anybody who knew my uncle knew that he lived every moment in his life fulfilling those 2 holy requests. But you and I also have a mission. In a way, we're not as lucky to have such dramatic circumstances to be told what exactly that mission is. But one day we're going to go up to heaven after 120 years, God willing. And the question is, are there people who are going to come out and say, I appreciate so much what you did in this world for our souls and for the entire universe?